EHOME's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Game 3 of Vici Reborn versus EHOME. I'm Loomis, joined by Drasco for the Beyond the Summit China regional coverage. I don't even know why they put you in China.
Why are you calling it the Beyond the Summit coverage? It's the everyone coverage.
Because we're on the Beyond the Summit studio.
Yeah, but you said it was Beyond the Summit coverage, not we're on Beyond the Summit TV number... Is this 3?
3. No, you're right, you're right.
Yeah. I know I'm right. Yeah, you're right.
Why are you on China, though?
I didn't assign the games.
Reserve time.
But it's okay, I'm still having fun watching the games. You know, EHOME versus Vici.
It's actually
Gaming
pretty
Reborn.
good games, yeah.
Yeah, it's gone to a third match. I'm really enjoying the drafting so far from both teams. Some interesting stuff coming out. You mentioned in a tweet it was the first time, actually, that EHOME has lost with the CM Kunkka.
Did I actually tweet that out?
Did you tweet it? I saw you writing it. I just assumed you were talking about something that you actually knew.
It. Yeah, I thought about tweeting.
And then you were actually not sure if you were right.
No, I was right.
Okay.
I'm sure I was right. I just wasn't sure whether that was tweet-worthy. You know, I have some standard.
Do you, though?
I do.
Because I tweeted under your account.
God damn it. But yes, that is true. It's the first time that EHOME has lost with their CM and Kunkka combo. So I don't know if they're rattled a bit. They were having a very good run in the regional qualifier with that combo. But with that said, though, they will have to kind of throw it off, because winner of this game gets to go to Seattle.
Yes.
Because you move to the finals where
you will either be wild card or you will be the regional qualifier.
Correct. So yeah, or the second place, right? Because
second place is wild card. Or sorry, no, second place.
Third place is wild card.
Yeah.
Second place is, I guess, second place regional qualifier. Wings at the first place. Anyways, let's actually just get into the draft here, as we are kind of halfway through. Disruptor and DP being picked for EHOME. You will get that Darkseer plus Slark.
This is probably the most vanilla opening we've seen EHOME do this whole series.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we're gonna see VG.R run it back, because the Darkseer Slark was what they opened with, I think, last game.
It was really strong. I don't know. No, they didn't open Darkseer Slark.
They got something else plus Slark.
Yeah.
Disruptor Slark?
Maybe it was Disruptor Slark. I think you might be right about that. But either way, I think it's, again, for EHOME, I don't know if it's a good or a bad sign that they're going for something like this, because I feel like this is super standard. And EHOME have been picking stuff that, at least in the first two, they opened CM Kunkka last game.
Right. And
they were doing extremely well with it. So I'm kind of wondering if they're feeling the heat a little bit, you know what I mean? Just going into this game after losing to Vici Gaming Reborn, probably on the back of a couple of misexecuted fights, and maybe just wanting to play it too safe.
And I think what you're trying to say, and sorry if I put kind of words in your mouth, is that I think that you think that they're better when they're running that kind of
I do
non-standard Dota, instead of just like, here's a DP, here's a Disruptor.
I mean, clearly they can play a lot of different heroes. I'm not judging them based on their hero diversity or anything, but typically when a team picks stuff that's out of the box, they're more comfortable playing in those situations because the enemy team is not able to adapt as quickly. But if you're just picking something that everyone else is picking, I think it gives Vici Gaming a better chance of winning.
Sure. I mean, maybe they just don't feel comfortable doing CM Kunkka again after just losing that game, which honestly...
It wasn't because of the CM Kunkka, though. That's
that is true. That is true.
Like, you misexecute one game, you lose, okay, whatever, move on. You know, just stick to what you're good at. If Lanham, you know, feels like this is the strategy that he wants to run, I'm going to put my faith in him. I still think EHOME are the better team.
Okay.
But I was just a little bit concerned that I'm seeing stuff that a lot of other teams are doing.
Sure. What teams also have been doing against EHOME specifically is first phase banning out both Terrorblade and Naga Siren. It seems like at least that's what Wings did against EHOME in the tiebreaker for the first place finisher match for the China regional qualifier. That's why Wings are now at Seattle, or well, they can go to Seattle. Those were the first two bans that they did against EHOME. So a lot of teams have been really taking note from Wings, and they are using it right against EHOME here as well.
You know, actually, I think EHOME could be pulling a pocket Tro strat here.
Right back at ya.
The Kunkka support.
Yeah.
I mean, the Kunkka support did a lot of work in the last game.
Yeah.
They utilized the rum buff really well. I'm not sure if VG.R can run it as well as EHOME can.
Dude, they got the Darkseer combo though.
Yeah, that's true as well. But I'm just saying, the last game, Lanham's Kunkka, he might be the most experienced Kunkka player in China right now because he plays that hero so much.
Well,
so, I don't know if VG Gaming Reborn can run to quite the same extent. Is all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's a bad pick. I just mean, you know, how experienced are they?
it's not that difficult of a hero, but if you haven't played it before, it can throw you for a loop, especially if you're trying to get the basics, you know.
I mean, even Lanham missed the next torrent on a hasted hero. Like,
right.
If you do stuff like that and you miss the combos here and there, it can definitely have a big game impact. So, again, like you said, it's not a huge skill cap or anything, but
it's also tricky.
Is it something that you do in a game where you are 1 win away from being guaranteed to go to TI? That's what I'm wondering.
All right, we'll see. I am concerned. You brought up the Drow for EHOME.
I think it would be interesting, mainly because A, it's Slark, which you know that the laning phase is probably not going to be amazing for Vici Gaming. Like, you don't pick Slark and think that you're going to win the laning phase.
Okay.
So you haven't seen the mid matchup yet, but you know that what you're laning against in terms of the Darkseer. You already have a good support at killing him. Looks like Timber is going to be the off lane here for EHOME.
You know, isn't it more like, yeah, we're also up against the Slark, we're in the mid game. If the Slark gets up to us, then we're kind of in a little bit trouble.
I mean,
if we have the Drow.
Yes, that is true. But they don't necessarily have anything great for closing the gap just yet.
They got Blink Vacuum with a bolt backup. I think that's...
Yeah, but you're not going to have a Blink Dagger at 15 minutes into the game. Well, maybe you actually would if you had a super good laning phase. But if you're just getting like all your towers taken down and you're getting high ground siege at like 15 to 20 minutes, you're not going to have all the items that you need.
Okay.
That's all
I'm saying that's a strat, but that's also fairly risky of a strat.
It is. But I think it's something that, you know, if EHOME are going to pick CM Kunkka and they're going to pick Storm Omni Knight,
all right,
why wouldn't they pick
within
Troll?
the realm of possibility? But
yeah,
they're going to run a Timber Saw, and I've seen Old Chicken playing it. I've also seen Ice playing it.
Yeah.
So, you know, it feels like EHOME is at least they've been switching roles, you know, just recently with Ice moving to carry. We'll see if they're okay here. And right now, there's a ton of ways to deal with that Timber Saw. The X is great. Venge is great. It's becoming more and more of a commonplace for Timbersaw to pick up the BKB, and he'll likely have to do so here in this game as well.
I'm just kind of wondering what direction EHOME want to take here. They have a lineup that doesn't really have a whole lot of disables against the Slark, so that's mildly concerning.
Oh,
okay, this is just going to be... I guess it's a good counter pick against Slark. Gives you vision. Makes the hero very hard to get in and out of fights with. It's kind of what Slark wants to excel at during the early to mid game, or even late game. But I guess it is another way to deal with the Slark and the Darkseer in regards to the silence as well. But there's a lot to save on Vici. Like, you can get Thirst Away, you can get a bolt buff, you can get a swap.
Yeah, I'm not feeling this EHOME draft right now.
Yeah, I think it might be the weaker one that I've seen so far this series. I've liked their draft in both games. But this is the one where I'm kind of like scratching my head, wondering, actually literally scratching my head, but not because of that. Just kind of, I feel like it's trying to do too much, you know what I mean?
But yet it's also not doing enough at the same time.
Yeah, but that's what the whole thing comes from, spreading yourself too thin.
Yeah.
So you're trying to do everything, so your lineup does nothing.
The drop gets out of the window as well, right? Just too many melee heroes to make that work.
I still thought it would have been nice to be able to pull it in the third game. The only reason I mentioned it is because open with Disruptor DP. And obviously Dro benefits both of those heroes very well, and Venge was still in the pool at that point, so it could have been like a nice go-to. Because they could have picked Venge as a third pick and made Vici Gaming not think anything of it, because you want to save for the DP anyway.
Sure.
And then you just fourth pick the Dro, and then all of a sudden they're like, what?
Any possibility of a Spectre final pick here?
For EHOME?
Yeah.
Or for Vici?
For EHOME.
Oh yeah, Vici already have Slark, so they wouldn't pick Spectre.
Because they did pick it up once earlier today.
This is a hard Spectre game, isn't it?
It ain't great. The laning ain't great. The mid game ain't great. But if you're looking for a penultimate carry, that might be the route you go, right?
I suppose Exorcism with Spectre is not really that bad of a combination.
Because I'm just looking at the heroes that Ice have played recently, right? Terrorblade's banned out, Naga's banned out. He can play Timbersaw, but assuming he's playing carry, you know, Spectre is kind of that as well. He did play Jug last game, but Jug's also banned out.
No clinks either.
10 seconds remaining.
I want to say he's playing the safe lane Void as well, and that's also.
It wouldn't be the worst thing to pick Spectre, but it's not great. Okay, it's Ice Timber.
Radiant team.
Who's playing carry?
I guess it's safe lane Timber. And then maybe they go. Maybe they go like ET Timber top and Night Stalker Disruptor offlane.
Not like
right?
this.
Or they could do this. They could do Timber and Disruptor. And the offlane, right? And then you pressure the Slark really hard. And then you can have Night Stalker farming safe lane and have ET do it up there as well. Because I think that's okay. If they can do well in the lanes. I think it's going to be a 2-1-2 from EHOME no matter what. That's my assumption.
5 seconds remaining.
Alright.
But I think this is super risky.
Okay, I actually think that pick helps EHOME more than the VG. Because EHOME, the way that they win this game, they win the laning stage, right? They kind of have to wreck that stage. And Storm is not exactly too terribly good in that stage, because you technically get ganked and you can fall behind really, really hard.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't disagree, but I think if for whatever reason Vici Gaming get ahead, the game is just like super hard. They don't have a whole lot of lockdown between their team. Like, yeah, you have a couple of silences or whatever, and Glimpse is nice, but there's no hard stun for the Slark. And the Storm, you can pretty much say the same thing. Those heroes thrive in scenarios where there's no like instant snap initiation, like a Lion Blink Hex or something like that.
Once VG.R gets BKB on the course, unless EHOME is like 15k goal, 20k goal ahead, I think the game is difficult, to say the least.
Well, I think you could argue that it's similar to Game 2, where VG Gaming Reborn didn't necessarily have the greatest lineup on paper for a while, but they had started to abuse the Night Stalker very well. Like, FY got to a stage where he was able to get vision control, and that was how VG.R actually took it to a third game. It was based on the idea that they could take the proper fights because they had the vision advantage. And I think that's kind of similar to what EHOME can do here.
They also have to hero for the proper fights. The way I see it is, once VG.R gets a BKB, how do you lock down these two very slippery cores?
Yeah, I don't disagree. I'm like trying to think of ways where, you know, EHOME meet a win condition other than we win our lanes and we just snowball with the Death Prophet, because that's really what it seems like their lineup is supposed to do right now.
We shall see who's gonna win this game, just based on the draft.
I think VG.R had better draft.
Okay. Well, team with the first barracks kill, VG.R. Even though there's the DP on the other side.
Yeah.
All right.
I think EHOME needs to have an immaculate laning phase.
30 seconds.
Like, they just need to be able to like get so much out of this early game.
All right, so it is gonna be a straight up Night Stalker off lane with a Timber carry, and of course with the Disruptor as well as.
They can still send somebody down.
Yeah, they can. And probably they will send the Elder Titan most likely. Actually, in a straight up 1v1 between Timber and Darkseer, who actually is favored in that lane.
I think Darkseer is actually going to start getting levels, because Ion Shell doesn't actually give you stacks of reactive armor, and normally what Timber wants to do in lane is tank the creeps to make sure that you get reactive armor stacks and just continually heal.
He could aggro it still and get the buff and then walk away.
But what I mean is the Darkseer will end up pushing the lane so hard eventually that Ice is not going to be able to tank the creep wave at all. He'll have to just pull the creeps back. And then the tower will still eventually take damage. That's my assumption. But if it's just a tri-lane up here, and Lynam and Fenrir want to try to, you know, deal damage to Yang and just go for kills and whatnot and zone him, then yeah, it's going to be tough. But FY in the meantime, finding the first blood there onto old 11 in the offlane. The old, the double stun and the pounce. Unfortunately, not really that tanky because you've got boots and no stout shield, so it just gets wrecked. Yang, though, suffering the same fate in the top lane. Got quite low there. Alright, so both offlaners not having a great time.
Yep.
And this is why we do 2-1-2s.
Well, this is why the offlane also get the hell back when 2-on-2s is not available.
I'm really curious as to the reasoning of buying boots instead of Iron Talon in this game. Like, sure, if you don't go to lane, you're going to have some rotating support that potentially could pressure your mid, but...
I mean, I think the logic behind it is not really as much for this part of the game, but also for mid-ends in the game, you get boots and plus a little bit more of other items. It's not as good here, but it'll be much better 4 minutes in the game.
Yeah, that's true.
For your ganks, so.
I think it's actually just to draw attention away from mid. Yeah. I think if your DP gets ganked like 2 or 3 times, your game plan is just like in the dumpster.
Well, same thing here for the Storm, right? So I think that's where EHOME looks to
Yeah, but EHOME's heroes, you could argue, are worse at rotating. Even though I think the matchup is favored for Old Chicken pretty much no matter what, because Death Prophet is super good in lane.
I'm gonna look for a quick reconnect here, so
Yeah, I mean, I'm lagging too.
Haste. Denied.
Pretty decent. 1 out of 3 ain't bad.
Alright, we're back.
But yeah, the lane phase kind of shaping up how we expected. P with a pretty decent edge actually in regards to the denies. Old Chicken is 6 ahead right now of Mikasa, but Storm is not really known as the strongest laner. And then the Slark and the Timber are pretty much free farming. The Darkseer is getting a ton from his lane, while the Nightstalk has 1 creep. So, again, VG.R with Yang, probably feeling a bit more comfortable about the situation.
And the key thing that you talked about before even entering this game is that because of the nature of EHOME's trap, they need to do very well on the laning stage. And they're not doing that.
Well, it could be getting a little bit worse here. Smoke is going to get broken though on DDC. They got to go right now.
They see him come. That's not the one wrench keep helping, but it's not going to help when this is a 4-man gang. What about the clap though? Okay, Siphons are coming out, but it's not going to be enough here. They are going to get a 1 return kill with the Storm. Finra TP's in literally with not much mana left. They glimpse one back, and now Finra in a lot of trouble under that Storm. Meanwhile, on the left side here, looks like the Spirit's going to pick off the Venge. All right. Pretty good counter kill. Lanham's going to get himself a double.
Wasn't too bad of a reaction there from EHOME. Managed to kill both mids. I think Lanham and Fenrir just understand very well that there's gonna be action in the middle lane, so they were both very prepared. I'm pretty sure that the ET was just sitting on the high ground, and he was the one who broke DDC smoke in the first place.
Well, you have a little bit of go here on Mikasa. Is that a shield? Yeah. Kinetic field being dropped down with a Siphon so immediate double death here for the Storm. It's pretty much triggered, and of course now there's a regen room for Old Chicken.
That's so good for EHOME.
Yeah.
That is so good for EHOME. That whole series of events, the Storm going down 2 times, no TP, Death Prophet's like already a lot of CS ahead.
Bottom though, looks like we're gonna see go here against 11 despite under the darkness of the night, but VG.R doesn't give a damn. It looks like we're not gonna see that the patented Lanham build. We're gonna see a good old Kunkka with maxing X.
Yeah, I like that. I think it's in this game it's super important for your rotations to be successful. Because you know the DP push is going to be coming. Old Chicken is already kind of ahead in the laning phase by a large margin. Like we're talking level 5 versus level 4. It's a full level advantage here for Old Chicken.
Oh, well, you know that gank that happened to mid where Storm died twice?
Just happened to Old 11, yeah. It's not great.
By the way, this Kunkka build that Lanham is running where he doesn't pick up
You mean FY?
Yeah. Oh, no. The build that Lanham runs.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
That only works when you have a lead initiator that you can count on.
Yep.
And Venge's lead initiation is pretty bad. And also that build only really works if you're transitioning with the Tidebringer max. That basically says one of your cores go into the jungle or something. And like we've been pointing out, the Storm, Darkseer, and Slark, that's a very greedy tri-core. They can't really give away farm to support like that. Mid lane, we do see the X-Torn flying out here against Old Chicken, but won't be really getting a kill off of this.
Not really going to be getting anything.
Alright, we do see FY being in a lot of trouble. Quick kill. Top lane here looks like Timbersaw also, or sorry, bottom did get 1 kill and looking at second. Alright. You said that EHOME needs to do very well on the laning stage. They are doing just that.
They're just on point with their rotations. Like they understand where they need to be and when. They know that punishing the Storm is important. I mean, think about the first game when EHOME were running Storm and how little pressure they applied to that middle lane. They know the hero very well, so picking Storm into EHOME after they'd run it against you, you kind of have to expect that they're going to try to punish you.
Yeah. I mean, the game 1 Storm, not only was he not pressure, he was also winning the solo lane matchup.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
In a mismatch,
right,
mind you.
And this game is the complete opposite, right? DP by himself is doing better than the Storm, and the Storm is also still getting ganked. So, EHOME doing essentially everything they can to shut down Mikasa. We saw how effective it was you know, after Mikasa got shut down game 2, the game got much easier for EHOME. And they will really like to replicate that. Oh, Chicken popping his low here for the bottom lane, and oh, he's putting in the hurt.
Yeah, he's got Ice there to back him up just in case people start to TP. And this is kind of what you expect with the Death Prophet, just very early rotation as soon as you get the ultimate available. It's actually kind of rare that you see a level 6 Death Prophet ult. A lot of the time people will save it for like level 8, sometimes even 9, depending on the game. But here, you know, pressure as soon as humanly possible. They want to abuse a Night Stalker vision. They want to make sure that VG.R are just not getting a lot out of laning phase and constrict their movement as soon as possible. Which is definitely the right way to play it.
I'm gonna give the quick reconnect here to salvage.
Oh, this is reconnect number 2, dude. Come on. Alright. Get it together.
I'm trying, but Andy, can you...
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
And DP helps with that.
And DP supplements that issue very, very well.
Okay.
So you have this one hero who can clear the waves very quickly, is tanky, you don't really want to fight into. And then another hero who can abuse the idea that those waves are always dead, and that VG.R might not feel super safe about fighting into a Timber because a lot of their heroes are pretty close range. Even Storm pretty much has to be in there.
Oh, DDC, a lot of trouble here. It does try to get himself out of there, but no getting out here from this combo. Finra will pick up the kill. Now, one big weakness here of the Disruptor DP combo is that, sorry, not Disruptor, the Timber DP combo as your 2 core is that they're just not going to scale past 40 minutes. At least not as well as the Slark would. So they better...
But I mean, it's not really about the scaling, it's just about how they want to play out the game, I feel.
Okay.
So when you have Night Stalker and Timber, you just push out the waves forever, and you just make it so VG.R never really get the fight they want. You know, imagine how VG.R played the second game, just abusing the Night Stalker vision for a good while, and then finding the opportunities they needed to be able to win. But this game, I think, is going to be even a little bit harder for VG.R to find the right engagement if they start losing too many towers. And, you know, it's only 9 minutes in, they don't have a tier 1 safe lane, they don't have a tier 1 bottom. Like, EHOME are meeting the proper criteria for their lineup to succeed.
Storm Spirit trying to get that farm up top here. I'm not exactly sure how they're going to lock him down, but
they're going to try their best.
Oh, they're actually baited about him long enough to jump away from all of this, but there is an X back, and they're still chasing. Super is out of mana for now. He jumps once again after the Soul Ring usage. And now suddenly Ice in an awkward spot for him will clip him, and entire cavalry of VG.R available. He fell again, jumps out, finds himself end, but
he is just
where the hell, like, he is across the map.
It's a universe of ace that he just made for his team. Like, during that time, Chicken pops his ulti, they got full wave there, they're just gonna walk.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Double damage!
Yeah, they put it while they were fighting because he was using Siphon and whatnot to chase down the Storm Spirit originally. But it was wearing down and it was just hitting the tower. So they got about 50% of the HP down. That's not too bad.
Alright. Night Stalker Midas.
I don't mind it, actually. I mean, I know it sounds a bit counterintuitive because you have to say on paper that VG.R during the mid late game are... Oh, actually, hold that thought. Casa just getting wrecked here in the top lane.
Yep.
The combo.
This time they had catch.
Yeah, this time they definitely did have catch. But the Midas is okay because EHOME are doing what they need to do. Like, their laning phase has gone well. They've taken the tier 1s. Even during nighttime without an Aghanims, you know, NS is still pretty scary. They're fighting around the DP ulti, which is more or less what you want to do. It's FY.
Okay. Foreign boat's gonna fly out here against O-Chicken. O-Chicken, he's gonna have any backup? Seems like the stomp is very good. And he will survive thanks to that Spirit Siphon.
That was such a slow reaction from the rest of the team. Where was everyone? Like, he was stunned
VG.R?
for like a good 5 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, where was the Storm in particular? Oh, TP was
He was.
cooldown.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that was a very interesting series of events. Maybe the stop hit on the back line? I'm not sure. I was kind of looking a bit, so I didn't see if Lanham's stomp actually hit.
Yes, stomp hit a good number of people. I'm pretty sure Vici could have brought more if they really wanted to. Well, Storm needs to be shut down. I think that's definitely one of EHOME's objective. I think they have accomplished that quite well.
I mean, he is kind of shut down. He's got 3 deaths.
And he doesn't even have so.
Yeah.
And great.
Not really, I'm not too sure on how well VG.R's team plays from behind, actually. Because they have heroes that really want to kind of be across the map from each other and try to farm.
Whereas, you mean this draft?
Yeah, this draft.
Yeah.
Because they have to be farming, but they also have to be able to play aggressive, like at the drop of a hat. So I think in a lot of ways, because EHOME's lanes went so well, VG.R have to play a way that they can't really play, if that makes sense. Because if they're set up trying to farm out the map, we saw how good a catch potential they actually do have.
Right.
And if the Storm or the Slark gets caught, that's just putting it even farther behind. So
I think that might be the case until we have high ground situation.
okay.
Because that's where I see VG.R having the advantage with the Darkseer and Kunkka. But that's also very dangerous if you're kind of conceding everything up to the high ground. As you can see, well, the boat's gonna be pretty good after the 2-man score, and Ochik's gonna get blown immediately. Lanham, unfortunately, no stomp to back him up. It's gonna be a chase situation for VG.R. Ice comes back in. Storm's gonna be pretty decent. He's focused on gets blown back out, but it doesn't matter. He gets blown up regardless. Meanwhile, UDC 011 being focused down on the left side. Big plays here from Ice outputting a ton of damage, but will it be enough here? Mikasa? Actually, it's not Ice Ana. He's very, very low. Now he's getting focused. Meanwhile, it looks like Ana's jumping back in, outputting a ton of damage himself. Ice jumps actually back to the north side. And I don't even know what's happening right now, but Mikasa will survive with a sliver of HP. End of the day, it's going to be a 2 for 3. DP did drop down earlier. Did he get the tier 1? But I don't think that was the kind of the trade that EHOME was looking for.
Vici definitely got ahead there.
Yeah.
No questions asked. The Storm lived through the fight, got 2 kills, made pretty much 1,100 gold from the exchange. And we were talking about how important it was for VG.R to get the right farm on the cores fast enough. I mean, that whole team fight as well, you know, and he's got his Blink Dag now. He's got Midas on top of that. So he's making his way back into game. The DP is only level 9 at 14 minutes. I mean, I guess the Storm was pretty much in the same boat, but because of the fact that they're 5-manning so much, you typically see heroes very under-leveled. And as soon as VG.R starts splitting up on the map, you know, the Slark is level 12 almost. That's a gigantic experience difference.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately for EHOME, DP has to essentially frontline for every push. So if there's a person for VG to focus, Ochikin is, I mean, definitely the one, right? He's the one that's actually doing the sieging. He's squishy enough where he can burst them down. And I think this is where a lot of players prefer perhaps the hood build first.
Yeah.
Just to make yourself a tankier. Normally I'm a bigger fan of the Yule's build, but seeing how this game's been playing out, maybe Hood would have made a bigger difference here, especially against the Bolt.
I guess that's a fair point. Hood is just such a... It's a super defensive item, and I feel like it lacks, not necessarily utility, but it lacks diversity. So you're only playing in one specific way. Whereas the Yules, it can allow you to self-save. You know what I mean? Like you get
self-save.
You can dodge the torrent, you can dodge the boat.
I mean, I agree with you. Like, gives you better farm, you know, when you're actually not fighting. So get rid of that one dimensionality that you're mentioning, but we can't deny it. It's actually a build on this hero, and it works from time to time.
Yeah, it can be good.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of the hood build, right? Like Timbersault's got a hood first.
Yeah, but that actually makes more sense to me.
I mean,
because the hero naturally progresses into tanky items anyway.
Sure, but he's also not being the first one blown up in the beginning of the fight, so I'm just wondering maybe a little bit better. It looks like the boat's gonna fly out. Looks like it will not hit Ochikin.
Just some creep wave clearing there to prevent the tower from taking too much damage, I guess.
Oh. It will be taking some damage. I'm glad that you point out the low level of the DP here, but it's starting to really cripple them because, I mean, there's a big difference between level 11 or level 2 exorcism and
It's
level
actually
1.
twice as effective as
Yeah,
level 1.
so perhaps it's more effective for EHOME just to farm a bit, at least for DP. Maybe even give him a tome.
It's a bit scary. I think farming at this stage of the game and isolating yourself when you're playing against Storm and a Slark with a Blink Dagger is
But you're literally not pushing because you have a level 1 exorcism.
I know, but I think it's just EHOME's lineup in general. We talked about how they have to do a lot and how their lineup might be spreading themselves a little too thin. I think this is just a result of that. Whereas VG.R, they're feeling pretty confident in their ability to take a fight. They know the Death Prophet is down. They're going to be forcing the rest of EHOME across the map, and because EHOME inherently want to play 5-man Dota, and they're not actually getting towers anymore, that is just opening up opportunities for like this Midas Slark to get farther ahead. Mikasa is working his way towards the Bloodstone. We talked about his recovery and getting those 2 kills on the top fight. I think it's still very iffy EHOME right now.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And you know, this is the second game in a row we do see End going for the Dagger build. Oh, hold that thought. We do have an exit open things up here against the Timbersaw. Don't really think they get this kill.
Nah, not even close.
Yeah. Especially with him popping the hood activation. But yeah, going back to the Blink Dagger on the Slark, it's a really nice refreshing change of pace because all we've really been seeing is the Shadow Blade and the Echo Slayer build. But we see this game and perhaps more importantly from the last game that the Blink build is still very, very good in certain situations.
Yeah, but Shadow Blade is mainly for when the team is not necessarily playing 5-man Dota all the time. Because you have to assume when 5-man Dota is being played, sentries are down.
Sure.
And if sentries are down, Shadow Blade's just a terrible initiation item. You just die before you really do anything. So if he wants to go in and he has Ion Shell on and BKB Blink, he kills his target. There is no save on EHOME. Like, well, if you jump the Disruptor, for example, Fenrir pretty much has to drop all his spells before he dies.
Sure.
And you force him into a really bad situation. Likewise, Lanham can stomp the peel. He can throw an Earth Splitter, but it's like, whatever.
I mean, it depends on who goes on, right? Like, Timber just zips away. But
you
would
go
never...
on Fenrir or Lanham. Yeah. Those are the targets.
You go on a squishy back. I mean, even the Night Stalker is quite killable, especially if you have that Iron Shell.
He's got like 1400 health. That's pretty rough. I would say about 100% of the time he kills Fenrir and Lanham, whereas killing the Night Stalker is much harder.
Alright, we do see a slow farming stage here. Bloodstone is going to get attempted here by Ice. And we do finally get the level 11 DP. He's been really slowly attacking. BKB is going to be that choice here for Ojkin. Is that a little bit too defense for your taste? Or, you know, in the face of all this incoming nuke, is something like of a necessary evil?
Oh, it's necessary, I think. I like it better than this game just because there are so many disables that might not save it. And like I mentioned before, there are like defensive swap, there's no heal or repel or anything like that. It's just really, you have to keep yourself alive somehow.
What about just getting a little bit greedy? Instead of going for the BKB, you go for something like Octarine. The build gives the HP. I mean, it ain't as good as BKB.
He just dies. That's the problem.
Okay.
Even with Octarine, the biggest problem that he's going to have during a fight is he gets jumped up by this Slark with Ion Shell. The rest of his team is going to have to try to help him, but the big issue is that, you know, End is going to have BB probably when they take a real. So if that happens, even if you pop the ult defensively for a couple of seconds, there's a good chance it won't save you. And have Coco run buff, you know, the VG.R during that exorcism anyway, so you're not dealing your full damage. Which means you need an item that's going to make you be able to kite around the fight, because that's what he needs to do. He needs to be mobile. And Octarine was not going to make him mobile at all.
Ooh, and gets found here on the bottom. Glimpse immediately. Is there going to be a Storm on top? He immediately pops his ult and TP straight out. The clap though will cancel the TP. Storm's going to be right there.
Nice catch.
Huge kill. For the Disruptor picks it up, and they're going to try to transition it off a push. Of course, DP Ultimate is at the ready, and they will probably pop it right here.
Yeah, that was a huge catch, mainly because we were talking about the BKB and how much of an influence it's going to have on the team fights for End, and him obviously getting picked there means that it's going to take a bit longer. They don't have to commit Exorcism to this tier 2 either, which means they can save it for Roshan.
Okay.
This could be the one thing for EHOME that kind of tips scales back in their favor. The ability to control the map with old 11 and getting the Aghanims up relatively soon. You know, he's only 650 gold away from it now, maybe a little bit less. And that opens up a lot of doors for EHOME.
Now, traditionally, the Timber is, you know, the Aegis carrier generally. Do you think you give it to Old Chicken here, considering we keep saying how important it is?
No, you can't give it to DP.
Okay.
Mainly because...
Oh, he's got BKB, so that's one reason against it.
Yeah, well, it's having BKB, and it's also the idea that if your exorcism is down, the hero doesn't really get any. It's like, what's the...
I thought when you have the Aegis, the ghosts still hang around, even when you're dead. Does that change?
I want to say they go away.
I
think what they did was they changed Druid Bear to be around when you're respawning, but not exorcism.
I could be wrong.
I'm
but
pretty sure it goes away.
Okay.
So yeah, they give it Timber.
All right. I mean, Timber is just a very natural Aegis carrier, and Ice has been running out of mana in these fights.
Yeah, that is very true. But you know, he wins like 1 or 2 engagements and stays alive. He'll get like a ton of Bloodstone charges, and he'll be more than okay. So, BKB now done on the Death Prophet. This is actually, it was so good.
Can they get another pick here? And has to pop his ult immediately. Unfortunately for Finra, he already committed his kinetic field, so.
Yeah.
All right. And by the way, it's actually ult 7 X on Night Stalker.
Yep.
So I can see the game turn. I say turn. You know, if it's not like one team had a decisive lead, but I can't feel but that VG.R was executing the game plan a little bit better than EHOME before this point.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. I mean, you can't really put an amount on how much that pick on end changed the game. Like that one pick off.
Yeah.
Delays the BKB. Clearly he has it now.
I mean, we could slap on the value of the Roshan, a tier 2, and the actual pick itself, but it's probably like maybe twice of that value.
Yeah. It was an insanely good move for me home, and they'll be quite happy with this. And they're gonna catch out Mikasa here as well.
Okay, that's a pick. You get a Bloodstone charge yourself. You remove Mikasa's Bloodstone charge. Nice Stalker Ags already doing a lot of work right after it gets picked up.
Yeah, and the funny part was they bought a gem too. So as soon as he had the invis, so he probably thought he was safe. And then old 11 comes in, he's like, bruh, come on, get that out of here.
All right, old chicken, gonna go down mid. And this is where you pop that DPO and kind of see where it takes you, or you save it for the tier 3.
I think you save it.
Okay. I mean, honestly, they push very slowly without it.
Well, there's 2 ways of thinking about it. You could either pop it now, and then just kill the tower for free, and then wait for the next exorcism, and hope that your Aegis is still up. Or you can save it, push both the tier 2s.
With the Aegis.
With the Aegis, have no risk. I mean, clearly you're not going to push super fast, but it just depends on how EHOME want to go about it. Because I think both, you know, you could say both ways of doing it are valid. Like you just pop it to guarantee the towers die, and then just run away.
I think Ochigen hangs around and be like, this is taking a little bit too long, so they're gonna probably go for the both tier 2 option. It is definitely much safer. Meanwhile, they lose the tier 1 bottom for EHOME.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Void flags.
Yeah, it's a slideshow here, but you know what? Fine, because we know generally is going to be happening in the game. We know what both teams want to do, and to be honest, it's a new experience to catch Dota via radio.
Sure.
I mean, come on, you got to be adventurous, you know, new experiences. Being able to cast a game, only seeing about a third of it is exciting. It's new territory.
I would prefer to see all of it.
All right. Well, hopefully we see all of this fight as the smoke is coming in here from VG.R.
Yeah, Ice. Keep in mind that he does have the Aegis and blinks in. And keep in mind, Night Stalker. These kind of the fight that Night Stalker really
They need to
excels at.
run. There is no way you fight this with a Night Stalker having Aghanims and all this vision.
Yep. You see all those wards that they dropped? Thank you.
Yeah.
Free picks.
There's actually just they cannot stick around because it's wasted about half his mana retreating here.
All right, as we do see VG.R retreating, I am also gonna reconnect. And
maybe the third time.
Flesh sustains, gold remains.
Not into the game just yet. can see his amazing Sand King loading screen, and they're baiting out a rune at the moment. Ice, ice, ice. Thinking about going down there. He's
I'm
actually
back
sitting
in.
on the high ground. Alright.
Alright, the internet gods have forsaken us.
Well, it's not like the internet gods, it's more just like
Ice, Ice, Ice getting jumped on. He does not have the Aegis anymore. He drops about half his HP immediately. He's trying to get himself out of there, and popping his BKB. Not exactly sure who's focusing. I imagine Ice, Ice, Ice. The disengage is pretty effective here. Now they're going to go on Mikasa. Do they have the Storm? Do they have the Glimpse? I have no idea, really.
I don't even know what's going on.
I don't know either. I see. Okay, Storm's going to be good on Yang. He TP's out straight. No TP out, so the clap's going to get him real good, as well as the Yule Scepter. They get 1 kill. And maybe 2.
I mean, they're going. They got a Night Stalker with a
that
negative.
boy?
There's no juke in here.
Yeah.
No
Cook
juke.
is going to be dead, and do you go into the Roshan pit? Is there going to be a Rockman there? No.
Well, I guess we can safely assume that EHOME won the fight, as 2 heroes in Vici are dead. I saw about 5 frames of Dota during the last 30 seconds.
Analyze it for me with that fire. What happened in the fight?
Alright, so they pretty much dumped everything onto the Darkseer, which I think is fair. Because he's one of their big combo heroes, and I think if he's down and you're fighting into a team and having like the... Well, I think the Aegis was taken off Ice 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 there, if I'm not mistaken. So...
Are you sure? Maybe he
either that or it faded.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the 2 things, right? And either way, it doesn't really matter, because he ends up living through the fight regardless. But
right.
They dump everything on the 1 hero. He dies. At that point, Mikasa doesn't really have enough mana regeneration to stay in the fight, so he most likely just backs. And at that point, the next stage to run away. But the issue against Night Stalker popping out of their ulti,
and
more heroes are gonna die.
Yeah.
Like, you can't run. So every single time VG.R take this engagement and it'll go well for them, they're gonna get punished tenfold for the mistakes that they make. And you know, we talk about better late game, but it's like I was mentioning earlier, you need to be able to take the right fight in order to make your late game good. Because Night Stalker is a hero, you're never getting the right engagement.
Yeah. Again, I want to echo the point I made earlier. The right fights may actually just happen when the high ground siege will come from EHOME. I mean, that's where Vacuum Bolt in a closed area gets better. That's where the Night Stalker kind of vision advantage is not as prevalent. So, whether VG.R have to kind of wait for that high ground fight? Might not actually need to wait that long, because here comes EHOME looking to end the game. But this is also kind of the most risky place for them to fight. Hold that thought, might not be end the game just yet. They would like to do it with the pick on end and trying to jump away. The clap's going to be good. Torn defensively, as well as some good pitch, and of course that swap as well. Gonna punch him down a little bit. There's a swap coming out, and they could glimpse one back if they can. Yep, no, they find themselves a Darkseer. That's a pretty key pick. The Earth Spirit is gonna come out, heals them up. They do. Will that hit? Will that connect? Yang's gonna take a ton of damage. Are they gonna dive up to the high ground? Vacuum. Torrent is gonna hit only on 1. Ice 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 is in there. Now they're gonna focus on Fenrir of all. Well, after dropping multiple spells, Fenrir dropping pretty low. Fenrir not gonna die though. Darkseer, however, did die. Still committed. Double PKBs are popped, and now they're going on high ground. Can't help to think that Vici has really messed up the combinations, and would now actually suffer for it.
I mean, they didn't even actually get wall off, so yeah, like you said, probably assuming that they didn't get everything off quite the way that they had hoped. And
oh, actually, they're not gonna push on with it. Very interesting.
No, I think it's fine. Like, they know that Exorcism is down soon.
No, I mean, like, they got the fact that, you know, Darkseer is dead for like 20, 30 more seconds. And they had the DPO pop, so I'm surprised.
They have full map control, like, why even take the risk? Like, you know that VG.R's cooldowns are pretty low, and in comparison to what you have, like, DPO is still fairly long, like at level 2, at all levels 145, so.
Just saying, free tower damage, they had DPO on, so.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I mean, they could have min-maxed it.
Right.
Could have gotten a little bit more.
Again, this lineup does not push without DPO. So any second of DPO being on, you might as well just take advantage of the tower damage.
Yeah, but Roshan's up in like 2 minutes. So say for instance
I'm right.
Say for instance they stay a little bit too long, and then they lose a hero. Like, it doesn't even matter who it is. Say it's
Yeah, get dangerous.
Yeah. So I think playing the safer game, when you know that you have the advantage, you know that VG.R doesn't want to get out on the map due to the Night Stalker. It's okay. It's okay to lose out on 5-10 seconds of TP ult.
And it's out of the map, and you'll have BKB TP. Now we just talk about how important these BKB charges are, because a lot of the utility and control for EHOME, block this BKB. So getting them charges down is pretty key, and the Octarine really single for EHOME. Talked about it getting it a little bit earlier, but the BKB into the Octarine now made him so tanky, and essentially a siege cannon with cooldown reduction of exorcism.
Yeah. It's a very common build, honestly. Like, this is probably one of the most, if not the most common builds we see. The other one is like the Veil build.
Sure.
Which I also think is very strong.
But I've seen the Hood build first as well.
Yeah, the Hood one is, I'd say that's like the third most common. It's like this one and the Veil build are probably tied for how much they're picked up, and then
sure,
the Hood build a little bit after. It's still very solid. And now we can just buy an armor item and his effective HP shoots to the roof. So you get like a Shiva's or AC even in some games, which I think is really good with Elder Titan actually. But smoke up here from EHOME. They got the vision advantage, they got the smoke. They're just barreling down a lane right now. Gonna be looking for some wards, which right now VG.R pretty much have none.
They're gonna find themselves heroes instead. Mikasa, I don't know exactly where he's coming at. He gets healed, Storm's gonna be on top. And he ain't running from that. He immediately suicides. Meanwhile, on the back line here, Yang gets caught again. Yang looked really good last game when he was the one that's, initiating with this combo. This time, however, he is being initiated upon against. And EHOME is actually making these fights look easy. And the reason they look so easy is because they're working with so much more advantage, a vision advantage, over VG.R.
Yeah, but it was the same story in games.
Yeah.
Alright, so high ground being sieged here, forcing out the glyph. VG.R and buyback the storm with a DS. Okay, End's going in.
Alright. And
he almost died instantly and got away somehow. I guess he was X. Yeah, he was X. That's power down.
Yeah. Storm Zip coming in. So they want to chicken again. He pops BKB. There's a Glimmer Cape on top of him right now. Everything lags, but as Stim goes, they're attacking. And they do get a glimpse back, and that's on Mr. N. Mr. N is going to get himself swapped out of there. It's going to come through. I'm not sure if there's a vacuum on top. Looks like it wasn't on top of that. You'll have to being dropped. A death drop. Looks like the ult is running out, and it's actually out, and now Chase goes the other way. Ice trying to do what he can in the middle of a very chaotic team fight. Seems like EHOME is going to hang around despite not having DPO. They find Ice or FY. He's going to be dead, and Ice godlike with triple. And they're just gonna push Del faster Ray. Gonna do with a good old right click.
Timber saw hitting him with the vengeance. Seems legit.
Yeah. I mean, something's better.
I mean, he's so tanky. As a pretty expensive hold for VG.R there.
Did they buy back Storm?
No, he just respawned.
A couple of heroes.
He has a Bloodstone, so he wasn't that for that long. The biggest issue, honestly, for VG.R is the fact that fighting under Exorcism is so hard for them still. The physical damage put for the Slark is just too much. He can't stay there. Like,
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
he's gonna go through. Old Chicken leading the charge right now, just walking up to the high ground of Radiant side and chasing down just a little bit more. EHOME popping a few more BKs inside of the Roshan pit. They're gonna go back now. Should be able to grab it. A nice attempt, I guess, by VG.R, but they just, again, they can't fight into the ghosts.
Yeah, even though it's a fight that we did not see, I imagine that EHOME was working with a lot more sight than VG.R, and when it comes to juking, kiting, running up and down the high grounds and whatnot, EHOME had the advantage there as well. They will pick up the... Looks like it was on Timbersaw again.
Yeah, he's just the best Aegis carrier they have by a pretty wide margin.
Oh, we're gonna see it. Nice. Oh, End is being gone on again. We do flips back, and that should be a pretty much kill, free kill, and that's why Swap's gonna be there. Venge is gonna get murdered, and going in there, BKB TP's out.
How do they not have like any interrupts?
How did they not get any kills?
They have a Disruptor and a Night Stalker and a Yules on the DP and the Elder Titan and Stomp, and they had DDC casually TP out from all of that.
As a Venge.
As a Venge with no BKB. That was actually insane. He's either the best player in the world for timing that, or EHOME just missed abilities. I mean, it's still a little bit laggy, so I'm not sure exactly how it went down, but I think it was something similar to that.
Dude, DDC probably counted all the stuns and be like, I got 1 second to do this move, and he did. What a player.
He did the math.
Yeah.
You know that old gif of like Havos and Kuro when they played the Navi? And it's
Oh,
like
that's
all
hilarious.
these equations and numbers.
Was it Curl? It was, I think, Resolution.
No, it was Kuro.
No, they had
It was Kuro and Havos because they were for the same team.
Yeah, but I think as after Havos moved to a different team, where it showed the Invoker player just doing all these equations, and Havos just.
No,
like,
it was Kuro's Rubik and Havos Weaver.
We might be looking at different games. Anyways, one thing we are looking at for sure right now is about.
VG.R is disappearing.
Yes.
That's what I'm looking
In
at
frames.
right now.
In frames.
I mean, VG.R are just in such a tough spot. And this is a huge game for both teams, you know? This is just guaranteeing that you're going to get a chance to go to TI, and the loser, obviously, not going to think about that.
It ain't great.
It is definitely not great. Or if you're EHOME fan, it's great.
Sure.
What was that enthusiasm? Come on. This is your region.
Oh, this is my region.
So where's your enthusiasm? Come on, I feel like I'm more excited to be in the field right
You
now.
know what? I wish I am in like China right now, broadcasting there.
You're just angry because we have lag.
I am letting Twitch chat flow their rage through me.
That's unsafe.
Yeah, that's actually
Like for your
very
health,
bad for my health.
I would probably not let that happen.
Okay, fair enough.
Alright, initiation coming in here. Alright, they are just blowing up FY in like 2 seconds.
Yes, they are.
11 pops BKB after the Orca comes out. Calgan to be forced
They
back.
glimpsed it back. Ooh, that ain't great. And is that a suicide? Yeah, it was. And I see 11 draws the line down mid. That's probably what's happening next.
This is just the tunnel vision down middle lane. Gonna have Death Prophet ulti in about 15 seconds and hopefully get another set of racks here. It's only 40 minutes in. Feels like it's been a very long game actually, but it really hasn't been.
I mean, when you watch everything at half speed because
Sure.
of the frames, it's a fairly long game. Alright, let's close things out. That's what Old Chicken's saying. Exorcism's gonna fly out. Glyph is gonna pop, but not sure. That's gonna be one last hurrah. Blink vacuum wall with the bow on top. This is what we need. Here we go. End up buying himself a little bit of time. He jumps in, pops the BKB, gets a couple of right click in. I do believe that's a pretty good vac wall, but not exactly sure how much that's accomplishing without the stuns behind him. He's dropping really low. Looks like CDC is straight up dead and runs out barely. The bolt's gonna come through. Quite a bit of AoE damage, but XXI's on the front line says, I don't care. I get the BKB pop. Throwing out double chakram here. A ton of damage output just from Ice and all the meanwhile, the Ghosts doing a lot of work off backline. They have ended. Raxus are just being right down the old standard way by a DP. Radiant though, still all very low HP. Yang somehow got glimpsed back in. Too low, got picked off. We do see a clap coming out here, and oh my god, that damage out. FY straight up dead here as well. And the last hold is not really going to be too long. Kasa comes back in here, trying to deal the damage. Static Storm on top of that. Maybe he'll get glimpsed back in. No, he won't. But after a bunch of right clicks by EHOME, they finally bring down the melee reps. And that could be their sign of retreat. Let's see how much they lose on the way. All 11 probably will die here. Keep in mind, he is holding the gem. So pretty big pick. But I'm pretty sure EHOME is happy with that exchange. They got 2 sets of racks. In the exchange of a gem and the Night Stalker dying.
There's really... The gem is nice and everything because VG.R supports don't really have the money to casually buy a gem in the first place, so maybe they can de-ward the, you know, one aggressive ward that's out on the map right now from EHOME, but yeah, VG.R definitely in a bind. The Slark just can't do enough. Like, when he goes into the fight, normally you want to get a quick hero kill, maybe under the Shadow Dance or whatever, and then you just keep chasing and just keep playing aggressive, forcing a team back, but because everyone's just so tanky, and the only target he can really go on has a Glimmer Cape, and he doesn't have room for detection himself, he's kind of in the state where it's very ineffective for him to try to go in. Like, look at this. Just getting chased down. Gets his BKB forced out by a freaking timber saw. And he can't do anything about it. Like, Ice can just continue to chase.
Yeah, in fact, he is doing so. I just hear chainsaw noise.
Yeah, so do I. I see timber chains flying out and hear the noise, and then they just stay stuck to the hero for like 5 seconds, because, you know.
Now, I haven't been able to catch because of the lag, but have you seen who he's actually trying to go on? Like, it feels like he's just mostly jumping on timber because timber is just in the front.
Yeah, he hits whoever's close. That's just kind of how he has to play it.
Right.
Like, if he tries to jump to the backline and he runs out of like BKB duration, whatever, then he could just be dead. And that is not okay. Like, you can't have yourself dying in the beginning of the fight at this stage in the game.
Yeah. Is there a line where he draws so much havoc and attention in the front line and sets up Yang's big vacuum play? Can that happen?
I mean, if they land like the perfect combination, like 5-man back wall to the torrent boat, they could probably win a fight.
Right.
But that is so unlikely at this stage with multiple BKBs, Yule Scepters, Force Staffs. Like, there's just saves now upon saves because of the item progression that they have. And Ice, this man has never cared a day in his life.
Oh, he might care a little bit now here. Taking a little bit of damage. The tier 3, they're taking a lot more in that short duration. It's gonna go down. Shotguns are flying out. Look at why he's dead. And Ice, you know, we were talking about whether his carry Timbersaw is good enough. He's beyond godlike right now. He's definitely good enough. More shotgun flying out. We're catching about half that. On the back line, though, did get a kill on the Disruptor. And it's gonna get stuff out of there with the help of BKB. It looks like Earth having to say Chicken is gonna take down the last lane.
Radiant's top barracks has fallen. The Dire now have mega creeps.
Home. What can finish finisher. Wait.
That's true. So, I thought like after the game. But we did the VG.R's draft, had an opportunity to really movement Titan by